Life is an amazing podcast, and it is presented and hosted by myself, Caro, and my sweet dog Sparky. Give it up for him. I hope you're ready. Enjoy. Hello, dear people. Welcome back to another episode of Go For Your Life. I am here in Amsterdam, as you all know. We're in Amsterdam now. With my dear friend Yanis. He's in Berlin, and we did our Jivamukti yoga training together 7 years ago. Yani, guten Morgen. Hello. Wie geht's, Liebling?
Mir geht es sehr gut.
Willkommen. Welcome to my podcast. So for those of you who don't know, we just did a live Instagram live interview where Yani was stream exactly. We were streaming where Yani was asking me questions, and now we're turning the tables. Now I'm gonna ask you some questions, Yani.
Can't wait.
Yes. So first of all, let me just introduce you. So you are in Berlin right now. So we did our Jivamukti yoga teacher training together. I would say that you are specialized, very much specialized also with kirtan and the beautiful chanting that you do, and the bhakti and the wonderful tour that you're doing. I don't know. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit? What is it that you do?
Sure. I am. Hi, I'm Yani. I am a yoga teacher, a musician, and I would say I'm more. My focus is on mantra yoga and meditation, and I'm teaching workshops about mantra yoga, so meaning about the sound and vibration of Sanskrit mantras and what effect it has on your body and your mind as a tool for preparation for meditation. Mm-hmm. And the kirtan, I say I'm a kirtan musician as well, and it's been quite a journey with that, but it's also something I, as a original kind of, I would say, musician in general, I would never thought that I would go into kirtan. So, but yeah, and I'm teaching pretty much all around the world. I love to travel, but I always feel home where I can just connect with people on a heart level. So that's pretty much, I love doing that.
Yeah, the Anjali. Anjali Mudra. Yeah, you are very much like that, I would say, like how I know you. And when you say you are like a kirtan musician, do you play a few instruments, or do you mainly work with the harmonium?
I mainly work or play the harmonium and chant the mantras. Occasionally I use the guitar, but as a one-woman show, it's kind of like in quoting marks. But yeah, as it's a little bit hard to carry both instruments around. Mm-hmm. So I mainly use or play the harmonium for the kirtan.
Yeah. Mm. And for a lot of people, I mean, I get that question all the time. What is a harmonium? What is a harmonium?
Oh, what is a harmonium? It's, first and foremost, it's a wonderful instrument. It is, it looks like a box. And from the sound, it looks like a box that has piano keys on it. And then you pump air through the instrument, and that creates the sound. But it is, from the sound, I would say it's kind of similar. It works, from the sound, it's probably a little bit similar to an accordion. Mm-hmm. It probably is the same principle how it works on the technical side, but it just has, due to its completely different I would say, anatomy of the instrument. It is much more wider in the sound, fuller, I would say, warmer. And for me, it's just a perfect yogic instrument because it embodies ourselves, because you pump the air into the instrument, and then you press the keys. And I always say to people I work with who learn the harmonium to play the harmonium, I always say, the harmonium really embodies ourselves. So we pump the air in, which is our breath, and then you press the keys, which is basically our voice. Or if you want to translate it into asana practice, so is vinyasa, right? So you pump the air in, and then each tone or each key that we press is one asana. So and in vinyasa we say, or it's said that the breath leads the movement, right? So the breath leads the tone. So if there's no air in the instrument, so you cannot really play. And you what keeps the asana practice steady is the steadiness of the breath, right? So and so with the harmonium, or playing the harmonium, you have to kind of keep the air pumping very steadily, so that you create this sound carpet, I would say, that carries your tone.
Yeah.
And so it's like with the same thing with vinyasa practice. You have a steady breath, and that breath leads you from one asana to another.
It's a really beautiful, I never looked at it that way. It's a really beautiful comparison, actually. Like, it's exactly what you're saying. It's really, what a wonderful way of looking at that, Yani.
Yeah, thank you.
And before your yoga teacher training, which we did together 7 years ago in New York, were you already a musician? Were you already doing kirtan related kind of stuff, or like was music already part of your life? Is my main question, really.
Yeah, music has always been, I would say, number one passion, I would say, or love in my life. I've started doing music or playing instrument when I was very little, and so that has always been a huge part of my life. I haven't, before the teacher training, I haven't been a kirtan musician before that, because I never knew about this way of music,
right,
or anything about it. And
so yoga opened that for you, like that door opened when you started yoga.
Absolutely, yeah. And even way after the teacher training, I would say, it kind of came into more manifestation. I think before the teacher training, because I met my teacher, who I studied Sanskrit and yoga philosophy with. A little bit before that, I started the training. So that was my first real getting in contact with Sanskrit mantras.
This is Manorma, right? Our teacher. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So so I got in contact with that, and kind of for me, it was reigniting my, I would say, musical flame. Or kind of, brought it back up again, because before that I haven't done music or played in any bands or whatever for years.
Because when you were younger, you were just mentioning you played an instrument. What did you play when you were young?
Oh, I played the piano mainly. Yeah, I played the piano and the guitar. And then later I was always kind of playing in some musical groups or bands or singing in the choir. I always was involved with like a lot of music in my life.
Yeah.
Throughout. And then before I met my teacher, it was basically it was kind of a pause, a very years actually of pause. And that, I don't know, mantras kind of reignited
Yeah.
my love for
What a
music.
I
So
was just thinking of that word actually. I just want to say like reignited your passion and
yeah,
your love. That's beautiful. What a great
and
thing.
so that was when coming in touch with mantras was basically that. But I never was really much in touch with kirtan. So I always found, so honestly, it's actually a funny story. Honestly, I never I found it a little bit like hippie-ish. It was really not for me. And a friend of mine, she was like, "Oh, you would, since you like chanting mantras, you would really love going to kirtan concerts or whatever." And I said, "No, I don't think so. I don't think it would be. It's my cup of tea. I'm not really into that hippie stuff, and they're weird people and whatever." Um, and then she tried again. It's like, "Oh, there's this other, another kirtan musician coming into town. Do you want to go?" I'm like, "No, I told you, I'm really not into that."
No, not gonna do
So,
that.
and then when we were in teacher training, we there was this ecstatic chant weekend. Remember?
Yeah.
It was
That was so great.
48 hours of
Kirtan.
continuously chanting kirtan, and there were so many kirtan artists and really, really, really great artists and groups. And I guess when you immersed into 48 hours of
Yeah.
kirtan,
Yeah.
you just surrender,
In the
right?
second
So
week of teacher training where they completely breaking you anyway. So yeah,
exactly.
you just surrender. And so just quickly before the listeners who don't know, like what is kirtan, or maybe like what does it actually mean? Could you explain a little bit for people who don't know, like kirtan? What are you talking about? What is kirtan?
Oh, so okay. So kirtan, at least for me, and it's kind of a yogic gospel. It's a call and
Mm.
response, and it's chanting Sanskrit mantras, or I would say the sound and vibration of divinity that brings you closer to yourself and to the divine. And the wonderful um, the wonderful thing is that in kirtan there's so much creativity or space for creativity, because all the artists, they can just express themselves musically in a different way through kirtan. So you have this kind of, I would say, guideline with the mantra itself, but musically there is no limit, right?
Yeah.
So, and you just, whoever or wherever, what kind of musical genre you feel drawn to, or I think you can just express that also wonderfully. Um, yeah, and I think
Yeah,
that's
yogic gospel is a really good way. Another great, like how you making that correlation is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And it's always call and response, isn't it, Yanni?
it's always call and response, but
Yeah,
then at some point when then you chant together,
yeah. You just
it's like
float
you just immerse, like you
together,
become
one.
one voice. And what I always say when people come to kirtan or are interested or asking me, it's kind of their response. Oh, I love to sing. That's like I love to sing, but I don't really have a beautiful voice, or I don't have the voice for it. And I'm always saying, like, it's not that you have to have a pop singer voice or an opera voice. Is just merely how you create these sounds and of these words, of these sounds